And welcome back, folks. Episode 46 of Fancy Tickles. I'm your host, Bryce Beeler. Hetero life mate, James Maydall. The little bubbles at the bottom might have just told you that we're also Wrecking Ball and Wise Panda. What the hell's going on, man?
Another fantastic week in America.
Yeah, it just keeps
ups and downs. It's like that roller coaster ride.
It just keeps getting better.
I've never been a fan of roller coasters, but you know.
So here's my thing. We just got done talking, like, hey, nothing happened this week. I bet next week's going to be a fuck of a week. And boy, howdy, did it not let any of us down.
Nope.
Motherfucker. So, first off and foremost, they shut down the Keystone pipeline today. This is kind of a little bit of a personal note for me, because when the last Democrat was in the Oval Office, not saying it's Democrats' fault, but I see a pattern here, President Obama wrote an executive order to end all drilling and fracking operations in North America that we could control. So my $100,000 a year plus job went to an offer for $15 an hour somewhere in like North Dakota or South Dakota. So it's kind of crappy to see all the people that are going to lose jobs for this. The fact that oil is probably going to be, instead of the $40 to $80 a barrel or whatever it is right now, it would have been about $10 on average a barrel had the Keystone pipeline been put in and allowed to be fully functional. And the fact that a large majority of the pipeline is already built, so the environmental impact of it has already been done. Meaning habitation for birds, deer coming in and out, that kind of thing. So I don't know what to think of this whole thing, other than it just seems agendized, is the only way I can put it.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Because like you said, a lot of people are losing their fucking jobs.
Like overnight, like 10,000 people lost jobs.
Quick.
You know, I have that
almost like a pandemic hit.
Almost like a pandemic hit and fucked up something that had nothing to do with it.
Well, you know.
I think it's, you know what it is? Pandemic wasn't COVID. Want to know what it was? I don't know what word to use to make this nice. So I'll just say it was 2020 in a nutshell, which was like every PC culture thing that exists, every do this, do that thing, all culminated at the same time. And all the same mouth breathing, everybody gets a trophy, first place kind of fucking people just kind of all got in control somehow. And it just... And so now 2020 is just fucking everything up. Doesn't matter if it has anything to do with COVID, it's getting fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
We go down to Walmart. No fucking wrestling action figures for what, like 2 months now or something?
Or when they show up, they like people that have been waiting like us, they just fly off the shelf.
I'm so sad. That's my biggest sad. It's not the loss of life from COVID. It's not for the loss of money and jobs. I can't fucking get action figures.
Dude, the fact that we can't go to a wrestling show.
That pisses me off so much because we were just starting to get a roll on that. And I was getting so addicted to it. I was like, in wrestling. I felt like I was there. I was
that's the thing.
One
like,
step away from competing. like
if we had the
shout
cash
out
flow,
to Cascade Championship Wrestling.
If we had the cash flow to like go to Florida to go to an AEW event, like as spread out and like everything in those stadiums they are.
Oh, I forgot AEW still kind of has people.
See, because they still do it in an outdoor arena. There's this like in the practice area. So you see everybody in the like that's in the crowd. The wrestlers are all down low where it's like the breeze and all that stuff isn't coming in super high, but you look out further in the crowd and either people that have been there all day have adjusted to the weather, or they'll have like hoodies on or thicker coats kind of. But everybody's still wearing a mask. I mean, they still keep it safe. Well, not saying that makes a difference, but
I was
like following those protocols that they would have to do.
Well, what I immediately in my brain is like, is pro wrestling now like football? Like any weather? Like what if it starts snowing or something with an open stadium?
They have a dome over it. So it's got the dome, but it's like, it's their practice field, but it's also, it's like the
So they don't count that as indoors?
Well, I think they do, but it's like if you look at the Safeco field, they have a dome that goes over, but there's still holes in it that allow the airflow in.
Sure.
So it's kind of like that, I think.
I guess it's just like when you see the restaurants that have the tents outside of them, and then you see the meme that's all like, you can't eat inside, you have to eat outside. Well, it's cold outside.
We just made outside inside.
We just made outside inside. Yeah, and then you see, it's like, I don't know about that.
Right.
Like, just I think I would imagine more being around each other is the thing.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Well, and even then, like, those tents, they've got everything spaced so far apart. They've got, like, 4 of those tents set up, so it's, like, literally the inside of the restaurant just spread out, like, an extra 30 feet or whatever.
Right.
And Roosters is even doing that now, where you can eat on their patio. And
Smart deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, because every time I've ever went to Roosters, morning, noon, or night, they got this big, beautiful deck. Doesn't matter if it's summer or winter. I barely ever see anybody out on it. I'm like, fuck, I want to go eat out there.
Right.
Now I'm like, I want to eat inside next to everybody else. You can't restrict my rights.
Right.
I want it. Yeah, fuck. Well, no, we had our first, like, I had my first restaurant experience since the whole COVID thing happened, because I haven't went to one restaurant. Sorry, any girls, I haven't taken you to a fucking restaurant or whatever, but, like, it was fine. I didn't even really notice the COVID stuff. The only thing I noticed was the bathroom was single use only, and the menus were online. That was the only thing. And everything, there wasn't like the kids drawing stuff, everything, but it just seemed cleaner to me that way. They just didn't have all this shit on the table getting in the way, so it seemed more like a little cafe restaurant type of thing.
Yeah, it's a little more high-techy. It almost seemed like more Seattle-y.
Right. Well, and that didn't even bother me at all. Like, when she said that it was on my phone, I'm like, I finally got a new iPhone for the first time in like 8 years or whatever, and I'm like, look, it works.
Right.
Best part was Tony takes his $12 Walmart phone, and he's like, so I just take a picture of the emoji thing? She's like, yep. Then he like goes to open his phone. It just looks like Spider-Man had just smashed his phone or whatever, or webbed him out. It's just all broken, and he just takes a picture of it, and he shows it to her. What do I do now? It's just a picture of the thing. Like, mine is like, I just hold it over it, and it just immediately
registers
pops.
open.
I was like, no shit, that's how that works.
Right.
QR code readers in every camera. Fuck, it's the future. But yeah, our fucking Applebee's experience was awesome.
No, like I said, I've gone to eat at a couple different places. When I went out on Dad's death day, it was...
That's such a funny way to put it.
Well, it's. I guess it's easier saying that it sounds more kosher than saying anniversary of his death.
Right,
you know?
anniversary.
Like his death.
Together. I got you a present. It's flowers for your gravestone.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we went to Main Street Grill, and they sat us in the back, and they had kind of like what Hazel's was doing. They just put the high backs on them. You get the high backs, and you can separate people like that. I've gone to eat at Waffles more a couple times. They just have the spacing of the seats out. You one booth here, one.
That place needed that anyway.
Yeah.
It was so popular that they just kept figuring out how to add tables, and it almost felt like a chow hall or something. When you go in there, you just look and it was chaos. Just little kids, heads running around because parents just have no.
Well, it's one of those places. It's like Hazel's. The turnover there is so big, and it's such a popular eatery.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that why, like, if we're gonna make as much money in between 5 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Because people are willing to sacrifice the acrimony.
Now the downside to that being as popular as it is in a time like now, you see 5 or 6 groups of tables being waited to seat outside.
Right. Well,
and they've even put heaters out there. I've noticed the last time we drove by.
The funny thing about the Waffles and more is like when they talk about how COVID affected the economy, you could literally see it when you drove by, because on like Sunday mornings, there used to be like 30 people all just stand outside waiting to go inside. Didn't matter what time of year it was. And now there's like 4 groups of 4, right. Like 30 feet
We got to
apart.
minimize everything a little bit. We can't bring the full family.
I wonder if like line stealing has become more popular since...
cutting?
Mm-hmm. Because I'm not nervous to catch COVID. I'm not nervous. Make me as sick as you can, because I'm going to make it out the other side, and then I get to talk about it.
Right.
That's my sacrifice to you people. I want it just so I can fucking talk about it. But, yeah, I would. I've thought about it at Walmart. Like, wait until somebody's, like, looking the other way and just, like, step in front of the cart. Be like, oh, sorry, I forgot the 6 feet spacing thing. Could you move backwards, please? That'd be so fun. God, that would be fucking fun. Back on wrestling, though, we kind of missed one little... that I did want to say. Jinder Mahal is back, sort of.
Yeah,
they tricked me on the Instagram or whatever it was I saw, because it was like, Jinder Mahal is back, and he comes out and he's fucking, he's all yoked looking. He's like halfway between Fat Jinder and I did way too much steroids version. He looks fucking awesome, and I thought, that's one guy I really like. He's like one of those characters that took, especially at the time that he was created, such a hateable character, and then he becomes champion. You know, he had a little run. I don't know how long he held the belt.
He had a good run with it. It was probably like 200 and some days.
So that's like a real respectable.
Well, and I think
champ.
the reason they did it was the first time. He's the first Indian-born world champion.
I thought he was from Canada.
That could be.
So that was the only shtick on the shtick that I didn't like, was that they were like, oh, he's Indian American. It's like, well, technically if he's from America, he'd be Indian American because we designate things certain ways. Like instead of you're a person, I'm a person, you're this color person, I'm a that color person. But Canada's just like, hey, we're all Canadians. You know, like, I don't know, it's just that's such a funny topic where you split things like that. It's like, if you want to get rid of race problems, ignore that they exist. You know, because like before, like 1500 or 1400 or something like that, race wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, nobody looked at it.
No, I mean, there was the slave population, the middle population, and then the wealthy or whatever, the rich, the aristocrats and shit. So,
but yeah, I think the reason they brought him,
made him back to Jinder. Sorry,
they made him champion at the time was to push for those Saudi Arabia shows.
Right.
And after the first Saudi Arabia show, it was leading into Survivor Series when it was supposed to be Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar when they did the champion versus champion deal. And so then they ran...
Did that match ever happen?
No. What happened was AJ Styles beat Jinder Mahal the Thursday before Survivor Series to go on and face...
They stole it from him.
Yeah.
Because if there's a big old yoke dude to maybe injure Brock for me, that'd be him.
Yeah.
Because he's a rough wrestler.
Yeah, he was pretty
he's
rough.
Really rough, like almost purposeful.
The rivalry, or the gimmick, the storyline they had between Randy Orton and him was pretty solid.
Very good, dude. That's that one where he takes the two midgets and just fucking hucks them. It's funny.
That was the build for that match, for this last Saudi show that they did. It was supposed to be held in Saudi Arabia, but because of COVID and everything going on, they brought everybody over to the PC, to the Performance Center, and they just shot it from the Thunderdome or whatever you want to call it. So they've had, and every match had an Indian superstar in it, somebody that they pulled from over there to come and to sign a contract and get like the training and everything like that.
Off the top of your head, what's their wrestling called over there? Is there like a big
I
promotion
don't know
in
if
India
it's
that we don't know about?
I think it's just like an offshoot of WWE. Because
because they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that's why when they'd have the WWE shows go over there, you'd have, and I don't know if they ever had jobbers that would go over that were there that would face like, because they have
whoever they're
like the lost footages of
whatever.
Like on one of the, I think it's like Attitude Era unaired matches or something like that. There's one of like Bret Hart versus Undertaker in Saudi Arabia or something like that, where it's
like back in the past or more
recent?
recent?
Back in the past.
Oh, that would be a good match.
But it's all the ones that are like non-commentary, so it's like they're just live shot there.
Yeah. Is there any content on the network to get to watch these other versions of WWE? I've never seen it on
so on those. So they do have like, so now with everybody coming from like the independents, like when you go back and you see like Keith Lee wrestle in like FCW or something like that, they have other organizations that they've kind of purchased to be like their stepping stone.
Liquidate them, essentially.
They've done that with a bunch of like those.
So it's not so much like WWE England, WWE Thailand, in the sense that we're not watching their stars. They're just,
I think the only one that they've brought
one.
huge was the UK.
Yeah.
Just because you have so many like
talent
from over there. Yeah, Pete Dunne, Finn Balor came from over there from Ireland.
And they pull from talent pools all the time, and sometimes the hook is like, if you want me, got to bring my friend and make him a jobber in the States so he can afford a one-bedroom apartment somewhere.
One time or two,
yeah.
But the match that they had set up for Jinder with his comeback was Jinder Mahal and the two little stooges that he'd have with him that are actually like a viable tag team now. And,
they're legit.
They're the Bollywood Boys.
Yeah.
And it was those three versus Drew McIntyre and this pair of monstrous fucking Indian dudes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So monster versus monster midgets?
Yeah.
Nice. I think I've seen that in a AAA wrestling match one time.
And then they had, like, there was a 4-way, like an 8-man tag that was, on the one side, it was all WWE guys. It was Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke and Cesaro versus Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, and a 7-foot and a 7'2" Indian dudes.
Oh, awesome!
That were they were phenomenal. Like,
were they good?
Oh, yeah, they were pretty solid. Okay. Yeah,
it wasn't like a Kali thing.
No, they were trained by Kali, but they were like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
But they're a little more fluid. Like, one guy's like 7 foot tall, but he looks super like lanky. Like, he's got muscle to him, but it's not like
proportionally yoked or whatever. Yeah.
And then the other dude was just big and massive.
Huh.
So like they did their big like finishers was like one guy picked Ricochet up and threw him over the ropes. And it literally literally just like, I'm just gonna lift you up like this and just throw you like that on everybody out the ring. And then they did where they used to do Rey Mysterio's big splash off the shoulders like Big Show.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like a foot higher.
Oh shit!
He did it off the 7'2" dude. So like you see him walk over like this, and he like gets right up close to him, and like Ray has to like kind of splash, but kind of like fall back into the guy a little bit, just to not over splash. And then when he goes for the pin, the guy just like puts his foot on his back to like add the extra pressure to hold the guy down.
Oh, I fucking love it.
It was so good.
Shit, yeah.
And then they had like normally when they've done women's matches over in Saudi, but they've had to be like fully clothed,
right,
with their faces out for whatever. Yeah. So like the women, it was.
Oh yeah, they allow all kinds of things over there that we think we don't. It's just like the wealthy get to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they were doing so like the women's like obviously full burqas and everything like that.
Oh what?
Well, like when they're out in public or whatever, there's I think is what it isn't that where it is? They're supposed to do that shit.
Did Vince McMahon sell his soul?
No, not the wrestlers. Not the wrestlers. I'm talking like normal people.
Oh, okay. I was like, dude,
but what it was, like the women wrestlers, they did. I think it was Alexa Bliss and Natalia or something like that, or Sasha Banks. One of those, like one of the big two that were over there, and they had their normal gimmick on, but then it was like a full bodysuit that they would wear, and then like a t-shirt over it or whatever.
Jesus.
But it was like this: the arms were covered, like everything was covered to like their neck, and then you got to see their face and their hair. And
so here's my question: You're big enough fans of wrestling to know who these people are, and to spend millions upon millions of dollars to have a facility that they come and wrestle essentially for you in your backyard,
basically,
right? But then you make them follow your rules that you very obviously weren't following by watching them on television. So it's okay to watch these women in these scantily clad... You know what I mean? These kind of rules are always so like, are you fucking kidding me?
It would just be like... It's like watching porn, I would think.
Enjoyable? Oh!
No, in that aspect.
Oh, yeah. Well, then why not have a live porno in their eyeballs?
Because you still have children around. It's all, most of it, like, they have, like, their big, like, the ruler or whatever that's always asking for, like, the dead wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, bring us Yoko, bring us Warrior, bring us...
right.
Bring us
It'd be
Owen
really
Hart.
cool if Mean Gene was on the mic.
You know.
Who's that blue blazer fella? He died twice. Oh, too soon?
Not even.
Not even, dude. That was a good joke 3 seconds after it happened.
Much like the fall.
Much like the fall. Oh, God, I got deep. Woo!
But, like, you have the guy that wants all those people, but then he's also doing it not only for that, but, like, all the little kids that are in, like, the front row or his nieces and nephews that he's... And what kills me is, like, the seats that are there. Like, you watch the first one that they do, there's, like, a couple of rows of, like, the folding chairs. And it's all for, like, the little kids up front. And then, like, a step behind that, there's, like, a step up. And they all have, like, the super nice...
like thrones.
Cush chairs, kind of.
Hundreds of thrones, just adorned in gold.
Well, it's like the super cush chairs you see at, like, the hospital or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Shit, yeah, they are not doing anything on a folding chair.
Nope.
Speaking of, I got a cool folding chair. This, to me, is, like, a collectible item at the same time as being a wrestling item. That's a fold-up Ninja Turtles chair. Right there. Radical power. Right up there. Turtle power. I don't know why I had to think of that.
A little different.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, that's something I want to hit a small child with. Not because that's terrible. But
All you're being bad. Come here.
Right, just give him a fucking wicked chair shot. Just Mankind style with handcuffs on.
Which is something else I need. I'm still determined to fucking find.
What?
Was that double pop vinyl that I showed you.
Oh, that's right. Funko Pop is coming out with the Rock and Sock connection.
It's from Rocky was the champ, and I think it was from their I Quit match.
Oh, well, then that would have been that match, wouldn't it? Isn't that the one he gets handcuffed and chaired to death?
Yeah, and then he was like, he saw the last time he was at the WWE warehouse where they keep all like the memorabilia and stuff from different things.
Right.
He actually saw that chair. That
they like kept it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
They kept it, and he's like, it's going to be awesome to see that one day when they actually do like the physical WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, that should be in there for sure.
But it's like he's like, you can still see flecks of blood and stuff on it.
That's
and like
so cool.
He's like, I think there was a chunk of hair wrapped in one of like the.
It would have to be that fucker. Always got hit with the end of the chair, like where all the buttons and shit are. God, he could take a chair shot. Cool thing. Side note, also.
Hit me.
Right. So there is over 30,000 celebrities and sports famous people on Cameo. So Mick Foley is the number one wrestler.
Number one athlete
on Cameo. And he's the number 4 overall. Out of every Tom Brady, Brad Pitt, whoever the fuck is on Cameo. Number 4. I think it's probably because his is like $100 and everybody else is like $400 or $500.
Some of them are.
And he's really awesome. I did not mean to take away from him at all in that sense. But essentially, like, being number 4 is fucking Mrs. Foley's little boy.
Right.
That is so fucking
cool. I saw
cool.
that too.
And if it's only $100, Jimmy, we've spent $50 on way stupider shit. And since it's our Cameo, right, we paid for it, we can plug it.
Oh yeah, we can have
because they plugged other shit. Yeah, so that could be like.
Well, that was like so we
show.
did. He did one for one of the guys on the Albertsons.
No. Oh yeah. The Todd one. Yeah, that's so cool.
One of the guys.
That's the one that made me like.
Yeah. Well, that was when we were talking about like you're like, let's see who else we can find on there before we go dropping.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I think it's
Foley would be like a phenomenal.
Right back.
Or like Kurt Angle or something like that.
Kurt Angle would be cool. Kurt Angle would be really fun.
With the milk.
How about you all let us decide? Get on the Fancy Tickles page. 15 people listening right now. And tell us what celebrity, wrestler, athlete... Off Cameo.
That's listed there.
That is like $200 or under. And we'll consider it.
We'll put a salary cap on it.
And if you guys see a guy in the comments and you see a certain name starting to run, go ahead. Fucking fill the gap. Then that'll help it be a lot easier than 47 individual comments with 47 individual celebrities and athletes.
Speaking of 30,000 followers, hit us with this. GameStop blew up overnight. And you would be able to explain this whole thing more than I would. But...
Right, and I'm going to do my best. I'm obviously not a stockbroker, but I can definitely regurgitate information that makes sense to me. So, about a month ago, GameStop was... they took on CEOs and COOs in their digital media market.
Okay.
And when this happened, it caused investors to invest in GameStop because they're like, oh, they have the best of the best in the world now that are going to be doing something really big with their digital online.
There's no other game places to go through anymore. Like, what was the other one?
There is, because Amazon encompasses everything.
But but when you think about like a physical store, like there's no more Blockbuster. There's no more. What was the one that was in Hollywood Video?
Right.
There's no more of those little like places to go to anymore.
Gameplay was the name of that one? No, that's the one here in town.
Wasn't GameStop, because that's the one we're obviously talking about. There's an actual physical that
like
specified
PacSuns and stupid things like that, and Sam's whatever, the little
Sam Goodies and stuff like that.
Sam Goodies, that's what it is. I haven't seen one of those in forever.
Well, I think when I was in Boise, they switched from Sam Goody to FYE.
Never even.
So For Your Entertainment was what it was.
Oh,
FYE.
Right on. So
anyway, sorry guys. We do that a lot.
Yeah. Now we're doing it in like the middle of topics. That's awesome. So anyway, GameStop. So they have this surge in people buying the stocks because they now believe in this company. Well, what ended up happening was there was this drastic rise in the price, right? So it just gains all this traction in the last couple days. For whatever reason, all at once it got all this traction.
Yeah.
And what was happening is, so it's the best way to explain. People were betting, like in the stock market, you can bet for things to fail. And these are short sellers, is the terminology that I've learned is used for that. And so essentially, all these short sellers were starting to essentially buy other stocks in anticipation of GameStop failing through not necessarily insider information, but if you understand the industries and you know who the real big dogs are and maybe what their problems in business are, and then you go, oh, GameStop has this ethics policy. That's not really going to line up with this guy, whether he's the best guy in the world or not, so now we're going to have to deal with whatever that thing is. And so people are betting against it. Well, what a company called Robinhood, some of you guys might be familiar with it. It is like an ease of use app so that you and I could just be stock traders by happily pushing buttons that add or subtract your shares.
Right, we don't got to call anybody.
You sell them, yeah, you don't have to, there's no, all the in-between shit's done. There is no brokering. And you stand to lose more money or not make as much money because you're paying them for that privilege. Well, so what Robinhood did, which is against most trading policies, is they just said, oh, this is a volatile stock, so we're not going to allow people to buy it. Well, what happened today is a Reddit user posted a thing about a class action lawsuit because he's like, I have the right to buy these stocks regardless of whether it's considered volatile at the moment. I have the right to win and lose. That's why it's called a free market. Yeah. So you win big, you lose big type of thing. And this class action lawsuit on Reddit gained so much traction that 30,000 followers ended up being on this page in a matter of like 4 hours. And so now they're moving, you can get on there and add yourself to the list of people that feel the same way about not being able to buy GameStop stocks or whatever, and prove that they gave you some code, and then now you get to be part of the class action lawsuit, which we should get in on this. Probably. Might as well. It's kind of like when the Go Kachuya law people come on TV and they're like, have you been injured in a earphone accident while wearing, whatever.
It's my money and I want it now.
That's it, dude. That's the one. Fuck.
Call J.G. Wentworth.
I used to think that, like, maybe lawyers or politicians were the bottom of the barrel. No, it's them fucking ambulance chasing fucking law offices like that. So anyway, I don't know, it's just interesting that, like, of all the times, because there's things in the stock market that happen all the time that if an intelligent person were to watch what was happening, they go, well, right there is insider trading. There's no way it can't be anything but that.
Right.
And then at this point, they essentially peak the buys, don't allow the sells, and then what ends up happening is what happened. And you're going to get sued because you're not letting me be free.
Yeah.
But GameStop encompasses Nokia. What was the other parent company we talked about?
AMC.
AMC. So that's all the theaters and all the rights to certain movies, which is what I think is what the ethics policy to what they were going to end up start doing with GameStop probably had to do with their either rentals or buying of new movies.
Could be, yeah.
Those kind of thing like that.
Because I know AMC, because of certain movie companies, have said we're not going to release the movies on said dates or whatever like that.
Oh.
Well, like all of the Warner Brothers movies that were supposed to come out this year, have all basically pulled from the, like, I want to say they've pulled from the theatrical releases, most of them, or they're putting fewer out.
Right.
Because of COVID and everything like that. You're still going to make money from people going to the theater.
Right, but... and if people don't maybe know this about the movie industry, but this is a kind of an important note. The purpose of theatrical releases is to create revenue so that you can go into production to sell everybody a DVD.
Yeah.
Right? To sell you a Blu-ray, to sell you the good digital copy version of it, whatever, for posters, for toys, for anything that is associated with it. So say there's a movie out there and you go, this is such a cool plot. This has cool characters. They have cool guns. Why isn't this a toy?
Yep.
Almost every time that's why, because they have to go into production to make that movie. Like, to make because that's what they want to sell you is the DVD.
Yeah.
It has 2 cents of value in materials, and they're going to sell it to you for $29.99 for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And that's what's probably happening to a lot of those movies, which sucks because if it's Warner Bros., that means there's a lot of cool superhero
HBO Max has almost picked up every single one of those. So for the $12.99 you're paying a month, you're getting to see those movies on the same theatrical day release that they would be released in the theaters.
So they're just cutting their losses on the need for that revenue because
but
it's essential.
but they're also picking up a deal through a major streaming platform, kind of like what Netflix does with so Adam Sandler has a huge deal with Netflix where all of his movies that are coming out anywhere in the next 5 to 10 years
are going through.
He did one for Halloween. It was called Hubie Halloween. That was really fucking good, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was really fucking good.
See, I'd heard somebody talking about there being some kind of Adam Sandler show on there, and I thought, well, is it some kind of sitcom or something? I'd be like, wow, is he in that part of his career? He's doing sitcoms?
Well, there's certain, Gabriel Iglesias has a show that he's got on there that he's, done 3 seasons with.
Is it pretty good?
I haven't seen any of it, but I've heard really good things about it. It's, just a half hour. It's called Mr. Iglesias, and he's a teacher. He's, a Spanish teacher.
That's so awesome.
Right? But then it's also, now he's,
shout out to that guy. He's, in my life, I always try and think of people that are genuine. And people that are, genuinely nice. And this ain't nothing on you, I don't mean it.
Oh, no.
You guys are both genuinely nice in a very similar way. I've seen, backstage interactions, the way he talks. He's, excited and nice. It doesn't matter what they look like or how they act. When they come up to him, he's excited with them.
Right.
He's a nice person. And nice people need to be talked about. Don't talk about bad people. Talk about fucking nice people. Don't talk about me. I'm an asshole. Talk about, anybody else. Speaking
But yeah, so they've got all these things going with that. And so with the theatrical, so Wonder Woman came out Christmas Day, the same day that it was supposed to be released in theaters.
Why do I think that Wonder Woman was already done?
It was the sequel to it, Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, cool. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so
that one's
cool.
already out, and that one's
Why am I always so out of the loop on some things and so in the loop on others?
So this whole year they've got slated to hit HBO Max, Kong vs. Godzilla, the new Mortal Kombat movie, which is all rated R. They're doing fatalities, all that stuff.
Yes,
legit Mortal Kombat movie. I
forgot how good the first one was.
The new Suicide Squad movie is coming to HBO Max.
Nice.
The new Matrix movie is coming at the end of the year.
So it got Keanu Reeves in it? I am so excited when we do this show sometimes because that's when I learn things where stuff. I'm like, we'll be talking and I'm trying to keep on topic or something. And I'm like, did he just fucking actually say that?
Yep.
That's a thing?
They're doing another Conjuring movie that's hitting there.
Ooh, that'd be good. Oh, really?
Yep. It's The Conjuring 4 or something like that.
I love those fucking movies.
They're pretty good. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one, it was Insidious, the ones that I wasn't a fan of. Those ones weren't that
Some
great.
people really liked Insidious. Some people were
the thing that just threw me about it was it was the stupid things you're that's really the bad guy. I was right. I saw it and I was like, it's a demon, but it looks like a goat that's standing on its hind legs. That's all I saw.
Baphomet dog.
Yeah. But it wasn't even it didn't even have
one scary.
It looked like it looked like an anorexic thing from where the wild things are.
Oh my god!
The face was awesome. Black with yellow and red fur around it. No. I was like, it just looks horrendous. That's the one that I was telling you about, that Shudder, where the chick is the ghost that keeps haunting him, but in every photo it's him giving the girl a piggyback ride. She's just sitting on his shoulders from the guilt. It was the guilt he was carrying around for holding this secret.
Oh Jesus!
About her death or whatever.
There's a porno parody spoof for sure.
Gotta be.
She's on the front instead of the shoulders on the back. You kind of know where that's going.
Every time the picture's taken, I can't breathe, sweetie. I don't understand.
Somebody cooking trout up in this?
All those memes I was sending you today.
Yeah.
I saw it. I'll have to find it and show it to you after we're done. But there's one that's this chick. She's sitting on this couch and she's like, "Are you musty?" And she opens her legs and lifts her dress up and there's an aerosol can in her hand and she sprays it and she's like, "Not no more. You're good down there, aren't you, little buddy?" And comes back up and it's it was something about fish, but it was an air freshener.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the
Tuna
fuck?
flavored air freshener.
It was Fish Be Gone or something like that, to freshen it up.
Oh my gosh.
Holy fuck.
That's amazing too. I like how far commercials go now.
Oh yeah.
I thought that I was watching something that was a fake commercial part of a show type of thing. Just how it was just so lewd and I don't use that word very often. But I was like, this is a lot for somebody that can watch this on Channel 3.
Right.
But speaking of gross, right? Get on it. You know who we want to talk about today.
So I heard, like, listening to other platforms and whatnot like that, we have our own podcast that we listen to. And this is where it got brought to my attention, was Armie Hammer. I don't know if anybody knows that guy out there or knows about this story, but you can look it up, you can Google it, Google the images of his DMs. But he was...
A little more backstory. Who was he? Like, he played...
So Armie Hammer is an actor. He's been in The Lone Ranger. He's done a few different other action movies. He's got another one that was just releasing, I saw a trailer for, that has nothing to do with why he dropped out of this picture, this most recent one that he was supposed to have come out, because of this leak of his DMs. And he was conversing with another female. He's married.
Yeah, you said it.
Well, and I say female because it's not his wife, it's not his girlfriend.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't even his
wife. It wasn't like, it was just like some person that he was having an affair with. And this was on what,
Twitter?
I believe it was Twitter or something like that. Like it might have been like that's where they leaked him at or whatever.
Oh,
like
that's
the images
what you said.
of it.
That's right.
But it was probably like their personal DMs that he was getting into. But it was it was very, very racy. Like, we've talked about kink stuff like that. So this is where it comes into question. Like,
so, yeah, like, the worst kink that we've ever talked about on here, besides, like, Albert Fish, ain't got nothing on what this guy's got to say. And I was almost for sure that it was, like, somebody made it. Because everybody can edit so many things now and, make it look like you're messaging yourself. Like, that kind of shit. And it's like, I don't know. And then it blew up and they have like...
Well, so if you look at it, it's all from their perspective. So like when you message anything, you're on the right side.
Right.
Every single time. So if you look at it, everything that he's sent to this person is on the left. Popping up on the left side.
Oh, so the person never responded is why it looks like that.
I'm sure they did, but I think they cut those out to keep that person...
Well, that's kind of chicken shit. Like,
it is.
We have editing tools nowadays, and I'm not at all going to bat for this guy once you guys hear the kind of shit that he was saying. But if this was, say, a form of play, like you're just talking about it, and then what ends up happening is like a tenth of it in vanilla. Kind of like when you're like, baby, I can't wait to see you. I'm going to lay pipe for 2 hours. And then really you just kind of go at it for 15 minutes and fall asleep. Right. That's what would be assumed in these situations, obviously, because you can't do the things he was talking about.
Yeah, no.
But if they take it all the way out, not one like, oh, baby, that sounds amazing. Well, if she said that 5 or 6 or 2 or 3 times without ever telling him, hey, this seems violent, I don't want to be a part, like, include something of that so we get a context to how far this conversation went.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like some of the images I found did have little bits and pieces of those, but I think this was
the worst part.
The worst part that they were like, okay, if she's not responding to these things,
maybe
then
stop type of thing.
Yeah,
and that's what it seems like.
And that was the thing too. Like the podcast that I was listening to, they discussed that like if they're not responding to you, you should probably just back off.
Right.
Like
not continue.
Yeah. Quit saying the things you're saying. So the screenshot that I grabbed was probably the most heinous of the ones that we found.
Yeah, that one takes the
And like I said, it's one of those things that we can't tell if it's because it's out of context, if it's something that he followed through on.
I would imagine he'd be in jail because whoever this person was that leaked the pictures or
maybe
whatever.
Not specifically with this person, but if this is actually something he's done in the past or something he's super deep into.
There's 2 things to that before you start reading. He is an actor that can articulate on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Every actor is your worst actor that you hate. If you hate Tom Cruise, that dude can talk circles around you in a group of people and be the center of attention, and it's for a reason. They like exude this confidence and they can speak really, really well and articulate. So with that being said, it's either he was on the spot going through these things, or this is the kind of person this cat is, and that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. So, just to go through some of the things that he said, this is just from one screen grab of the things that he said was, wow, head rush, which then leads to how completely, which is something I'm assuming there was context from the other side. And then, or this was something that she said and it was all just put together.
Right.
Because just completely sounds like, what would you do
to me? Or like how involved.
Yeah, just how completely would you... So then it goes on to say, brand you, tattoo you, mark you, shave your head and keep your hair with me, cut a piece of your skin off and make you cook it for me. So that right there sounds pretty twisted in itself.
Yeah, it like started out almost
kind of mellow a little
well,
bit. Like there's the torture.
It's weird. He did it out of context. Like if I was gonna fling that same sentence at a chick, it would start with mark you, then go to maybe tattoo you, and then brand you, and then the rest of the route. But he bounces.
Yeah, like the ideas were there. He just didn't know how to like prioritize them.
Well, it was like the ones in his brain that came first. Just like when you're like grab your phone and you're gonna be like that day you're like super hot redheads because it's the first thing that comes to mind or whatever. So you type that shit in. You know what I mean? This is his kinks as they come out. Yeah. So he's working himself up just in that one sentence.
Then it goes to like from that he goes. I mean, I feel like the tests can be endless. So that could be like how.
And she was probably asking
willing to be.
Well, and there could have been a message in between that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like, we're looking at it after somebody's taken all theirs away, so there could have been a response between every single one of these.
So then it's like whose slave/master relationship is the strongest? And I think he's talking about somebody else that they has the same kind of situation as him. Like he has that same kind of kink with him. So there's other people out there.
That's what I mean. Is it another famous person? And when are we going to get that leak? Just like all the
the Pizzagate thing.
Yeah, Pizzagate isn't very real. But
well, no, but I mean like the idea of it. Like
no
when you look
to
at
somebody that believes in that.
When you look at all the names that were dropped with that,
right? It's more like Epstein Island.
Yeah,
like where it's like, why does he have a picture of Bill Clinton in a fucking dress?
Right.
Like, why does he have every famous person from our president down the list that have been to with him, and none of these people are getting wrapped up right now?
Right.
It's like, oh, he died in jail over there in New York or whatever. It's all good.
So whoever he's talking about at this point, with like,
I'm gonna say it's Trump. Let's just for fun say it's Trump. Not that I'm picking on him, but he's already fucking getting kicked this week, so let's fucking get after it.
So him and Trump are going off as to whose slave-master relationship's going to be the best.
I love that.
Right? Then he pops off real cocky and says, we'd win.
That's terrifying.
Then he goes on to say, when I tell you to slit your wrists and use the blood as lube for anal.
That's way over the top, dude. That's so far from good.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of positive that you can take from that.
There's nothing legal about that.
I mean,
like, if a doctor can't help you commit suicide in certain places, like with pills that don't make you super dead, like you just like fall asleep and that's it.
I'll give him this. He's recycling, though. He's not he's not getting, like, he's not store branding the lube and, like, throwing the plastic tube away or anything like that. That's true.
He is being...
Like, he's being very
ecological.
Earth-friendly. Yes.
I can't believe you just did that.
I did that.
Oh, you went there.
I
went there and had lunch.
Maybe not there, because I feel like that would be
That sounds like something
messy.
A really shitty attorney would be like, well, Your Honor, he didn't throw away a plastic wrapper.
Right.
I asked this be dismissed. Like, did you just say dismissed? Yeah, dismissed, sorry. He bled me.
I lost a little blood there.
I lost a little blood last night.
Can we get the donut from my back end? I'm a little sore, too.
Oh, Christ. Fucking. Speaking of sore, dude, I finally am starting to feel old.
Well, like, after all that gray that you've seen in the past week...
Yeah, that's a different kind of old. Like, that's
that's physically seeing it. Now you're physically feeling it.
I know. So I rode skateboards, like, my whole life. I've fallen off of some very large things that would terrify most people. Or not fallen off and landed and rolled away on a skateboard. I jumped off of a ledge, probably about yay high today, onto perfectly flat ground, didn't twist my ankle or nothing, and my goddamn back, down here in the lower old people portion, is fucked. It's totally fucked. And what's really funny is I take tomorrow off from work. It's the first time I've done it in fucking forever. I carry heavy shit all day long, every fucking day at work. Then I hurt my back just for my one day off. Whatever. That's fine, but it's still...
Well, you'll have a 3-day weekend.
Like, I've heard I'll have a 3-day weekend. I just mean, I've heard old people say this before, like, I just can't stand too long. Hurts my back. I gotta sit down sometimes. I'm like, that's fucking weird. I've never felt any different standing up or sitting down. Till today.
Right.
Today I was, like, leaning on my desk at work, just like, I better sit down somewhere. And fucking ever since, dude, the podcast is the most relaxing thing for me right now. I can see why recliner culture's so strong. Fuck. Now I want a recliner.
I was going to say.
So I can just melt into it at the end of the day.
Get a love seat and a recliner.
A make-love seat. That's what we call that, baby.
Get you one of those Chase lounges that fits right up against the wall.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, my
This
mom
would be
used
like
to
the
have
perfect
the
one for like a
baddest
sectional,
ass
right?
one.
You know, like just the L-shaped sectional.
Well, my mom used to have those ones. It was probably 6 feet wide, and it was like the Chase lounge that goes down and goes up, and then like that. You know, that shape there.
That back.
And it had like shag fake hair. It was fake hair,
shit.
like that thick, dude. And I can still feel my little 8-year-old Bryce just out on that fucking thing. Every movie I liked that I ever watched was in that. Those things, where do they go? I've never seen one except for my mom's ever in my life since. I've seen skinny ones, little single, what they call therapist couches or whatever.
Porn chairs.
What's it called? Calling couch or casting couch.
Yep.
I'd rather have that for a casting couch. It's got all kinds of those fucking bubbly ridges and angles and such. Plus, it's like 70s porno.
Get one of those, and then you get like one of the ottomans to go with it.
Ooh, boy. We're talking awesome now. I gotta look that up online, dude. I might end up spending way more money than I want to on something. I'm gonna find out that was like a $5,000
Well, you're
thing.
finding out that you're not having as much money as you once did.
Fuck! I was in a good mood till you said that, dude.
Well, that was at the bottom of the list, so I figure we're getting there.
I fucking make just as much money as I did before, but because I'm single, claiming no children instead of married, head of household, claiming 2 children and a wife, I didn't realize how hard you guys get just fucking reamed out on taxes. I don't make a lot of money. I mean, I make good money, enough money, but I don't make like an amount of money where I think Uncle Sam can be like, you know what? I think I'm going to take $300 away from you this month. And then I'm like, all right, fine. And then he's like, oh, by the way, at the end of the month, I'm going to take another 2. I'm like, wait, what? That's a quarter of what I make. Or whatever. I don't know. Fuck, dude. I couldn't believe it. I was so pumped for my check because I knew what I wanted to do. And then before I opened it, I looked at the bookkeeper. I was like, wait, did we switch my taxes over? And he's put this big smile on. He's like, yeah. We changed your taxes.
You're going to feel it today.
And I fucking open it up. I'm like, that only has 3 numbers on it. It doesn't have 4 numbers on it anymore. Why is that? And he's like, that's your life now. Welcome to bachelorhood. And he's lived his whole life. It's funny because his wife's got a good job. He has a good job. So they both pay. So and he doesn't have no kids. He's 62, about to retire. Shout out to Dave. You're not a half bad dude. He's definitely not listening to the show. I've begged him to listen to it a bunch of times just because he's a pretty funny, cool cat. He's like, no. I'm like, we know Netflix and YouTube. She's like, I know how to use it, the fuck all. I'm not watching your stupid show. I'm like, all right, whatever, man, fine. But he's retired after 27 years with one company, and he's a fucking cool cat. I get sidetracked pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
I forgave him on the taxes already. I was like, thanks, dick. And he's like, it's not up to me.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Like, you're the messenger.
You're the one that changed it.
You're the one that changed it. You're the one in charge of the bank account. Just fucking roll a decimal over if you would.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, no shit. That's the one thing, dude. When I was at work, I was peeing today. And the overhead fan's on, right? And I'm looking up at it and it's doing this thing. And I started having the thought, I'm like, what if common items now were more like all electronics on the Jetsons, where they all talk to you and we're sentient and we're smart asses and shit. Imagine being the overhead fan in a men's bathroom at a convenience store. The things you would see and how you have to talk. Because, on the Jetsons, they were all nice. They were well, I'm Clarky and I do this for you and here's your coffee and something smart-assy or whatever. And George would be like, hey, go away, machine, or whatever he did. But the fucking fan at the gas station, that dude's got an attitude. Oh, yeah. He's seen some shit. That's a guy from the
literally.
Hood. Yeah, literally. He's seen, felt, had shit on him, had drugs hidden in him. You know what I mean? Every time. Oh, you gotta drop the dope off in the fucking fan. But yeah, just imagine things like that talking to her, a diaper genie.
Oh, God.
It has to, I just eat shit all day. They're just, what other kind of shit? We have Siri, we have Alexa, we have smart houses now, which, I just thought of this. I have The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, and on here, one of the episodes, they have a smart house. and Pierce Brosnan is the voice.
Oh, okay.
For the smart house or whatever, and it ends up trying to kill Homer to steal Marge or whatever, and Simpsons fucking did it, because we got legitimate smart houses now where, like, everything's interactive. Well, everything works to be the most efficient. Like, I remember a Disney Channel movie that was like that. Oh, really? That was this family won this smart house, and it was like the first of its kind. Dun, dun, dun. And so like they move in, and it was like the mom, the dad, the dad, the daughter, the mom. It was like a single dad, so there was no mom. The house became like the mother figure. Oh, in this creepy. Sense. But the best part about it was played by Katie Sagal. Oh, really? Yeah. So it's Katie Sagal's voice. Yep, she's being super nice and everything like that. And then as they're trying to like. I think it was like the creator of the house was a female, and so her and the dad got kind of cozy and stuff like that. Yeah. So the mom was getting jealous and like trying to like lock the house down and everything. Like towards the end of the movie, it was like basically like prisoning them. Bring the gate down on you and take your leg type of shit. But it was a Disney movie, so you had to keep it PG. Like the best that ever happened was like she created an inside tornado or something like that right. To try to like. Oh no, wind! Yeah, in my house. Yeah, it's funny. Well, so like Katie Sagal goes from like Peggy when she's trying to get him to buy her something to Gemma on Sons of Anarchy. Right. Basically. For those that didn't know who Katie Sagal was. We spend a lot of time watching movies and shows, dude. It's so funny because sometimes I think like, did we over-reference something? Or like, it was too obscure, and then I realize I'm the one that's out of the loop because I'll watch you talk with every other human being besides me, and I'm just like, yep, whatever he just said. I agree with it. Sounds good. I think I've seen that. I'm going to say I have just so I can join the conversation. That's right. I mean, who doesn't want to be part of a conversation they don't know what they're talking about? That's like 2020 and 2021. Every time you bring up something political, I just, sure. I've seen the gloss just come right. Oh, yeah. Literally like cartoons, like the out of service thing, like I just killed Jim. I just bored Jim to death with something. That's just awesome. Jesus. Well, fuck, what else is new in the world? Sons of bitches. Sons of cock bitches. Me? I'm single again. Yeah, I've been single. That's welcome back. Yeah. Bryce likes his freedom. I would say let's hit the town, but there's not much of a town to go hit. There isn't a town, and I don't drink. Yeah. But, I mean, I could go to the bar, maybe have them fix me up some sissy drinks that don't have alcohol. But it looks like I got alcohol. The Virgin Cosmos or whatever. So I put a fucking lemonade in it with some spritzer or something. It'll look like a whiskey sour. Throw some color in there. Or go full tilt fucking flame on and just get like the fucking big old fish bowl with like the umbrella and the blue and the something like that. I don't know. Get her done. Yeah. Well, other than that, fuck, folks. Seems like an episode to me. Yeah, I would say we hit that mark. Did we do it? I think so. Let's see. We got a new post up on the page. I've been having so much fun with this. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do from now on is I'll create the image and let you... Did you like today's? I did. That was very... Cool. I was hoping... I had it sitting in my phone, so I fell asleep. Well, that was the thing. Like, I kept... Like, as I'm at work last night, I was like... He says he's going to post it. Where is it? Yeah. Like, did I miss it? I just trump carded you so I could do it. No, I fucking had it in my phone, fell asleep, and I woke up to your message was the first thing I could see, and I'm like, what the fuck's he talking about? I did that. You know, and so I, like, opened it up. I'm like... And I don't know if you noticed, like, when I saw it and when I responded, because it was like, I saw it, and then 35 seconds later I responded. I'm like, no. Well, what's crazy is I had to redo it. I had to remember all that stuff. Oh, shit. Which isn't a lot, but I wanted it to come across the same way that I had remembered saying it. So, like, when I open Facebook, that's the only time I get the alerts that anything's been posted. Like, it doesn't pop up on my page. Oh, gotcha. Like, I've had, like, somebody commented on this or whatever. Or I have it set up that way so I can see who's talking. And I like to respond to people as quick as I can on there. I usually try to do that. Like, if I know it's like when you're chatting with somebody, if I know I'm having a conversation, I'll go right back to it to look at it. Yeah. Shit, I've been there. You know what I've done before? So, say you like, it's girlfriend or a friend. So you have them on your active thing or whatever. Right. Getting a fight. I've done that with, not you. I've never done that with you, but I've done it with some of our close friends where I'm like, fucking silence you for 24 hours or whatever. And then I'll open it back up and it'll be the, like, 20 pages of fucking apology. And I'm like, all I had to do was be quiet? Like, silent treatment does work. Women are fucking smart, dude. Who knew they had all that I did power? Was accidentally not respond, and I got as many apologies as any woman has ever got for something a man did incorrectly.
Right.
I loved it. But, yeah, that feels like a fucking killer episode. I'm excited that you guys are actually here and to hear it that we got a fucking ender now. Like, we ended a pod well. And we can say goodbye and that we love you. Like, subscribe, comment. Jim is so close to doing illicit drugs. And I've got one for you. Because I can see the future of Fancy Tickles.
Oh, good Lord.
I can see it. It's gonna pop. Something's gonna send it over the edge, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna go, was it 1,000 to get you to do your first illicit drug? And it's got to be legal. I understand that. So this is the hitch and the giddy up right there.
Lord.
If we become famous enough to have this show pay some bills,
Okay.
we could set some money aside and take us a trip to Denver, metropolitan city in Colorado,
Okay.
where psychedelic mushrooms are now legal.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Or we could go like 70 miles that way to Oregon and everything's legal and you can just do meth.
I'll pass on that one.
Can you I forgot all about that with everything going on with the presidential race. I knew it was... That's it. That's the conspiracy theory, Jim. They fucking ran this COVID shit hard. They ran this presidential shit hard. The pipeline shit hard so everybody forget that they can all go to Oregon and do any fucking drug you want. Any drug. Heroin, meth, cocaine, MDMA, ecstasy, whatever, all the fucking pot, anything. Any fucking drug. You could go do flocka the same day that you do acid.
And we thought we had a solid ending, folks. I apologize.
That is the solid ending, folks. Go to Oregon.
Rambled on.
I did.
Like, bye, we love you. Hold the fucking
hole.
phone.
We do that. That's fucking my hook, dude. Anyway, we love you. Go to fucking Oregon and do drugs.
We'll see you guys next week.